Ladies and gentlemen, it is once again that time to do a, well, not SPDL anymore, TEC, the Eternal Draft Breakdown for Season 6, formerly known as SPDL. It went through a rebranding this season, actually, and now we are officially TEC. I am once again in the highest division, which is the Aegis division now. We switched from Galate to Aegis because I am lucky and didn't get relegated last season. So very tactical by me not getting relegated. Shout out to Lucat, if you're watching this, please comment. You're welcome. But yeah, we are in this season again. Orange is unfortunately not, but we have a lot of friends. We have, Adalove, Pulsey, Red, Keenan, all the good guys, the guys, and the bros, and the bays too. But we are here and hopefully are planning to make playoffs at least. Playoffs would be awesome, and I think it is definitely possible with the lineup we have today. So this is the first time also actually that we have a draft breakdown with slides. I made these slides because I thought they were cool, and now that I have the ability to make them, I'm making them. This is also a new logo. I don't really like it too much, but we're rolling with it for this season. It might grow on me, but I'm not a big fan right now. But without any further ado, heading into this draft, let me pull up the chat room so I can see everything. Actually, I don't really need it. So this season, originally I wanted Mega Dancy. And then Keenan was like, oh, I wanted Mega Dancy. And I was like, okay, I don't really care that much. So you can have Mega Dancy, and then I will take this Mon. And I started building, and I realized I wanted 3 Mons right away. I wanted 3 Mons that I really wanted to wear. I never used them before in draft, and I really wanted to see what I could do with them. The first of which is the first Mon. We had the 5th overall pick. So I was looking around, and I decided that I wanted this Mon I'd never used before. So pick 5 comes up, and I'm not sniped, thankfully, and I take Mega Mawile. So Mega Mawile was our first pick here. As you can see, these slides are pretty okay. I'm not like the biggest fan of them, but they're all right. So we're naming her Annabelle. As you can see, HP 50, 105 attack, 125 defense, special attack's not very good. Speed up's pretty good. Speed is, of course, not the greatest. And its ability is huge power and intimidate before evolving. I don't really need to say what Mega Mawile does too much. It pretty much has the potential to break everything. Like, I don't think there's something it can't break after an SD. Maybe like Quagsire, but it's whatever. Like, I have things to take care of Quagsire. But yeah, Mega Mawile does what Mega Mawile does. It is a powerhouse. Has great priority as Sucker Punch. Utility and rocks if I wanted to do that. But I don't really need to spend too much time on this mod because it does what it does, right? A click button. It's a little slow. I'm not used to dealing with powerhouses or using powerhouses that are slow. Most of my offensive mons I tend to like at least 80 and above. So having something like Mawile is definitely outside of my comfort zone, but we'll see what we can do with it. Having that priority second punch is really nice, and I think we built around this Mon okay. But yes, this was our first overall pick. Oh, excellent move pool as well. I think I talked about his move pool, but excellent move pool. So all the picks go down. Of course, I'm the 5th pick, right? So I'm risking being sniped this whole time, and finally my pick comes again, right? And I said I wanted 3 Mons that I thought could work really well together. So it comes to me my pick. I'm not sniped yet, so I'm really pumped about that. And I say, hey, I want something that can take care of the speed issue in a way, and then something that can help with this ground weakness. So right away, 2nd pick overall, I took Rillaboom. We have Rillaboom here. We named it Maurice after, well, all the monkey Pokemon I named them after Planet of the Apes characters. So I had, Cornelius, the Glaring Darmanitan, and I had Caesar, the Infernape, and now I have Maurice, the Rillaboom. 100 HP, 125 attack, defense is 90, special attack is 60, SPDF is 70, speed is 85. With, of course, the ability Grassy, Surge, and Overgrow, but I'm never using Overgrow. Rillaboom is also a very self-explanatory mon. It clicks Glide. It's very offensive. It could be a little defensive. I'm hoping to maybe see maybe make some more utility-based sets off of it. Access to stuff like Knockoff, Superpower, Wood Hammer, of course, is incredible. U-Turn also gives us some good momentum here. Base 85 is pretty good. I mean, it's not excellent, but it's pretty good, especially when paired with Priority Grassy Glide, which is awesome, and it provides terrain for the rest of the team, which is really cool. Yeah, so this is just another pretty self-explanatory mon. I feel like I don't need to spend too much time on, considering everyone kind of knows what it does, but I had never used these two in draft before, so that was really exciting. So then the picks kind of go around, and it comes to my turn in the end, and I'm like, okay, well, there's 3 mons I really wanted, but when it came time for my 3rd pick, I was kind of looking at the drafts, and I was like, I don't think the 3rd mon I want gets drafted. I don't think it happens this draft. So I consulted a couple of friends, and they kind of confirmed what I was already thinking, and that it wasn't going to be drafted. And I said, okay, well, we're gonna make the read. We're not gonna draft the 3rd mon that I really want, and that I think really helps the team out. And instead, we're gonna get stuff that is at a higher risk of being sniped at this specific time in the draft. So now we're entering round 3, right? Round 3 is when, like, I think that make or break drafts happen in like the mid round. Like lower tiers, those are really important, of course. Obviously, higher tiers I think are less important, just because the higher tier mons are easier to build around. But the mid mons, like getting the good supporting pieces, I think is super important. So I decided to prioritize that over another high tier mon that I wanted. So 3rd overall pick comes back to me, and I of course want something to not help. Well, we're gonna pick up some of our ground weaknesses. I need a defogger. I like having U-turn, so I'm looking for another momentum. So I end up settling on Mandibuzz, which is nicknamed Blackberry. HP 110, attack 65, defense 105, special attack 55, SPDF 95, speed 80. Gives me an 80 speed tier, which is right under Rillaboom. Of course, it's not like you're running too much speed in Mandibuzz anyway from week to week, but having that option to maybe outpace a lower or a slower attacker is really useful. Maybe another wall is really cool. Defog, access to taunt is really important. Has a toxic, even can be run offensive if you want to run that stupid weakness policy nasty plot. Weak armor set. Overcoat's really good for dealing with sand teams. Of course, Brave Bird has access to foul play, which is really nice. Knockoff, which is awesome. And of course, Mandibuzz is one of those mons that you feel like shouldn't be as thick as it is, but somehow it is undeniably thick. So of course, because I was the 5th pick, I get my next pick relatively quickly. This is just a good wall, guys. I mean, it's another self-explanatory mon. It's a good wall. I mean, it does what it does. It hangs in there. So yeah, Blackberry. So we have right now, we have a Mega Mawile, we have a Rillaboom, and we have this mon. And I'm thinking, well, okay, I need something that complements this mon. And I'm thinking, okay, well, I think I have a mon in mind. So my pick comes again, and I think I want Slowking. Slowking's name is William because in tandem with Adalove, who is also doing a draft analysis, I believe. Yeah, he is. He has Galarian Slowking, so we're doing the princes William and Harry. I thought it was funny. This is another self-explanatory mon. It's especially defensive wall. It could be physically defensive as well. Has excellent special attack. On top of that, with a really good move pool, access stuff like Fire Blast is really nice. Of course, the big thing that this adds to our team is a level of Trick Room for Mawile. So as Mawile could be used maybe as a breaker before, with Rillaboom helping it and some other things. Now it can totally like pull the sweeper roll off with Trick Room Teleport, which is really nice. it really elevates the prep that can happen. Is that you got to be worried about Trick Room as well. Every time someone preps against me, they have to worry about Trick Room, because Mega Mawile and Trick Room is incredibly hard to beat. I have all 3 abilities here, but Regenerator is the one we're pretty much going to be using exclusively, unless I believe there's a better matchup for something else. But yeah, Spadef Wall, Layer of Trick Room, excellent move pool, works well with Mandibuzz as well. Mandibuzz will take all the Shadow Balls and like bug moves or Shadow Balls and stuff, and then Slowking can handle like fighting types and stuff like that. But they're both weak to Electric, but we fix that later. So yeah, excellent pair, I think, Slowking and Mandibuzz. So my 5th pick comes around, and I kid you not, this is something I was super pumped to be able to draft, just because we have 2 nickname things. So whenever I can, I like to have like a mon I have, and then a mon that a friend of mine has. I like to do a nickname kind of thing with them. And Keenan Beans 123, of course, he drafted his signature Corviknight. So I'm over here and I'm like, okay, well, we planned this actually way before the draft. I just didn't know if it would really happen. But my next pick comes around, and I say I want Incineroar. Of course, to be named Nekoma. If you've seen Haikyuu, you know what it is, but Nekoma is the cat's logo team in Haikyuu, and he has the Corviknight, which he's nicknamed Karasuno. But yeah, we have here Incineroar here, which gives us a double Intimidate core as well, because before evolving, Mawile has Intimidate here. Incineroar is a really good mon, defensively or offensively. It has a base 60 speed tier, so it gives us a little bit, it gives us something a little bit above Mawile. Access to like bulk up is really cool. Bulk up, drain punch. Attack is really nice. HP and defense is awesome, and it holds an assault vest really well. I found, especially, I mean, it can do a lot of things. Incineroar is a really good mon. It's very well rounded. U-turn also gives us another pivot, which is cool. Knock off. It gives us double dark, which is like not my favorite, but I think it could work out okay. I think having 2 dark types is not the worst thing in the world. It's a little annoying, but it is what it is. Yeah, but knock off Intimidate has a usable special attack stat. I won't be using it as much as the attack stat, but I definitely think there are times where it would be like super useful. But yeah, Incineroar on the team. Nekoma. So then I make a pretty controversial pick. So I get sniped twice in this next waiting period. My original plan had Crobat as my top speed tier. So 130. I'm super happy with the 130 top speed tier. It's not like, especially with Rillaboom and Mawile, 130 was good for me. I was pretty happy with it. But that got sniped. And then I was like, okay, well, I have, Talonflame as an option, and I could go Talonflame, and then Talonflame got sniped. So I was like, okay, well, that's not ideal at all. So then I make a pretty interesting decision. So everything in like the 130 speed tier was kind of taken, or it was like, Aerodactyl, and I was like, I don't want to deal with Aerodactyl. I'm not a big fan of Aerodactyl anyway. Base Aerodactyl, I think Megadactyl is pretty good, but base Aerodactyl, it was kind of like, I feel like my points could be more valuable, especially right now because we don't have a big special attacker right now. So in a draft league with no cut moves, with no hidden power, I decided to draft Jolteon in the 6th round. So pretty weird decision by me. I don't regret it because everything else I wanted was quote-unquote expandable. I had replacements for them, but this 130 speed tier with momentum, there was nothing else on the draft board that could do what Jolteon does with the 130 speed tier. So quickly Voltazorb. Jolteon's pretty linear, especially in a cut move meta where hidden power is not allowed. It only has access to a few moves. Really very linear, special attacker. It's fast. I mean, its stats kind of reflect exactly what it does. We've nicknamed it Jupiter after the what do you call that? Like the Roman version of Zeus. So yeah, not like, definitely not ideal, but we have it, so it's here to stay. It's covers the speed tier, gives us another horn momentum, helps us threaten waters in a different way, I guess. Helps us threaten flyings, which is cool for Rillaboom. So yeah, Jolteon 1-3 speed tier, doing its job. Next up was something that was kind of like a pleasure pick for me. I was like not super I wanted it, but I wouldn't have been like mega bummed if I didn't get it, but we got it. So next up, we had drafted Hitmontop, which we've nicknamed Dreidel. Hitmontop is an excellent Pokemon. It gives us triple Intimidate and a Mon with Technician, with even more priority now having Mach and Bullet Punch here. This one does what it does. It does a lot of things. It does a lot of things really well. It can be offensive with Technician. It can be physically defensive with Intimidate. It holds Assault Vest super well. It can carry Rapid Spin for removal. So now we have 2 forms of removal, which is awesome. And of course, Triple Axle, Technician Triple Axle, which is something that it got. Both its priority moves that I already talked about. But I thought Dreidel really added a lot to this team, especially with that removal. Its speed tier is 70, which is nice. It gives us something between Mandibuzz and Incineroar. So we're kind of our speed tiers end up pretty okay, I think. There's one thing I don't really love about it, but you'll see. It's not the biggest of deals, but you know it messes with me a little bit. But yeah, Draidel's a super versatile Pokemon that I really like using. I haven't used it a ton. I haven't used it as much as Machamp, but I definitely thought Dreidel fit better on this team. And I love having the triple Intimidate core. I think that's really good. It's going to really deter physical threats on my team, I think, if I can cycle Intimidates or potentially make some easier mid-grounds when I have access to an Intimidate Mon. But yeah, super great move pool. Does all of its jobs pretty darn well, and it's an excellent form of removal and support Mon, which is awesome. Right, so next, what was next? Yeah, so everything goes around, and yes, so right now we currently have a big speed tier gap, right? So our fastest Mon is Rillaboom at 85, and then Jolteon at 130. So I have a couple things to do that I want to fix that with. Number one, so I still remember there's still that Mon that I really wanted, that it's still on the board. No one took it yet. It hadn't been sniped yet, so I'm like, okay, I can keep getting things that I think are more immediately important for the round that we're in. So right now we're in a later round, so some good value Mons are going to start going, and of course I need the speed tier. So I think, okay, well, let's go ahead and grab something that can kind of comfortably fit the speed tier in between Jolteon and another Mon that I haven't picked yet. And because of that, we picked Lycanroc Midday. So the speed tier gap is 18 points, which is not great. I will admit it's not ideal, but it's not as horrible. I mean, it kind of sucks, but we have a ton of priority on this team right now. We've added Accelerock and a Rocker, but before we have, you know, of course, we have Grassy Glide, we have Sucker Punch, we have Mach Punch, we have Bullet Punch, we have, you know, now this thing, right, which carries Accelerock. It can carry Accelerock. You know, we have Fake Out with Incineroar. We have just like a ton of priority on a team. So that little bit of speed tier gap issue is annoying for sure, but it's not like a massive big deal. But yeah, Lycanroc joined the team. I named it Romulus after Orange's Lycanroc that hacks me out of winning back in season 3, I think. This is another pretty linear Mon. It kind of does what it does. Physical attacker. No real great abilities, but we'll see what we can do. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's it. So now at this point, right, we have 2 forms of removal, and I had, of course, the Crobat, which was going to be removal, and then I was like, okay, well, I can pick up Moltres and just, you know, eat a semi-Rock's weakness, and maybe, you know, at that point, everything was kind of getting sniped, and I was like, okay, well, it's Moltres or nothing. But then Moltres got sniped, and I was like, okay, well, now we have only one option for removal that I can afford. And it kind of makes our team a little Ice Weak, which sucks, of course, but it is what it is. There's really nothing else for me to do. So next up, we took Gligar. So this gives me access to Rocks and Defog, which is really cool. Roost, U-Turn, Earthquake, Stone Edge, Toxic, and has great ability and immunity, which is really cool. And being able to be Toxic is awesome. Obviously, this thing is going to be holding the Violite every single time it comes and probably playing a more defensive role. But it's a very good, reliable defogger. Both my defoggers in Mandibuzz and this thing are both pretty reliable. Both weak to ice, which really sucks, but you know, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? The nickname is Scorpio. I don't love the nickname, but I was in the group chat, and I said, hey, Keenan, give me a nickname for this mon. And as I said it, I was like, Scorpio, because its shiny form is like green, right? And I was like, no, it's a stupid nickname. And as I was thinking it, Keenan typed out Scorpio ? And I was like, it has to be done now. So, you know, it was kind of predestined, if you want to look at it that way. But yeah, but it's okay. So its stats are really nice. The physical defense is really cool. The SPEDF is 65, but with a Violate, it's not gonna be like a massive. Like it's gonna be doing an excellent job for what I paid for it, which was what I think like 8 points. I don't know. I didn't pay too much for it. But the double 85 speed tier it shares with Rillaboom kind of sucks. Again, it's not like you're running too much speed in this thing. It does kind of get hindered by Rillaboom. Of course, Earthquake is going to be doing as much. But it is what it is. It is what it is. There's nothing else on the board that could remove. I wanted a defogger. I didn't want another Rabbit Spinner. This was kind of my last shot. And I was like, okay, well, it's not too horrible. So we'll see. We'll see what this can do. This might be a weak point to our team. And if I need to, I might be able to move stuff around. I still have 2 extra points that I just haven't bothered spending because there's nothing really I want as of right now, and I like giving myself. It's nice to have a little bit extra room for free agents and stuff. So next we have our final pick, and now I'm like, okay, I can finally take the mon, the third mon that I really wanted. It was the most expendable on my team just because something else could do the job, or I could fill it in other ways. But I waited, so that decision to hold off in round 3, I think saved my draft. I think if I had taken them on, Mandibuzz and Slowking are a lot more liable to be taken. And then at that point, like, the rest of my draft is kind of messed up, right? So everything comes around, and it's finally time to make my last pick, and I choose Zygarde 50%. Zygarde, very importantly, gives me a 95 speed tier, which makes it 95, 112, 130, which is not excellent, but it's okay. Zygarde is the king of Chinese sets. I really love like all the things you can do with Zygarde with its defenses, access to stuff like coil and glare and substitute sets, toxic sets, sub-toxic sets is really cool. Has priority, another form of priority in E-speed, and a ground type move that is not affected by Rillaboom's grassy terrain in 1,000 Arrows, which was really big for me. Which is why I thought they would work well together, is because the spammable 1,000 Arrows attack will not be affected by the terrain. It is nicknamed Order after Team Order in the Chromatic League. If you know, you know. But yeah, Zygarde, Order, excellent HP. It also gives us some more defensive fortitude if I needed to. It can play kind of an offensive or defensive role, which is really nice. But yeah, great move pool, lots of versatility. It can fill a lot of spots in my team, has a good priority, and yeah, that is pretty much it. How long is this video? Not too 23 minutes. That's pretty long. But yeah, with that is going to be my complete draft breakdown, running back through all the slides. That is going to be it. So goodbye. God bless. Oh, and go and join the server. And then there's going to be a lot of content from all the divisions coming out. So that's going to be awesome. So go watch those. But goodbye. God bless and have a great day.